Pod Apostle. Help us build the kingdom. Like, share, and subscribe. Gospel, Mark 6:34-44. This gospel, I think, I would say with great confidence, is one of those gospel that really lends itself to Lectio Divina. Because there's so many little details in this story that as you would spend some time kind of meditating on, that could speak to you in a very particular way. You know, being in the deserted place, and it's already very late, and the people are hungry, and what are we going to do? What do we have? You know, we don't have enough. And so there is this dependence on God in this story. There's another element of this story that has spoken to me in the past, and it still speaks to me today. It speaks to me about, you know, when Jesus says, pray to the master of the harvest to send out laborers for the harvest. You know, that direct command of Jesus to pray for people to bring in the harvest of souls. And what is Jesus as he looks out at this huge crowd of 5,000 people? What happens? What happens to him? His heart was moved with pity for them, for they were like sheep without a shepherd. You know, and how many people really don't have a shepherd in their lives? And I think that shepherding, I alluded to this, I actually tried to make it explicit recently, that the first shepherd of children is their parents. But even there, how many kids don't have a shepherd? When they're this is such a rich and beautiful story, it really is. I want to go back to this letter of St. John. And, you know, how many times does Jesus say these words in the gospel, that I love you? Does he ever say that? Check it out. Okay. This is as close as it gets, really. Beloved, let us love one another, because love is of God. Whoever is without love does not know God, for God is love. Jesus doesn't really go around saying, I love you, patting everybody on the hat. He says stuff like, my heart is moved with pity. You know, it's more about his actions. It's more about what he's doing. I mean, there are a few times where he'll say, this is like the one occasion, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. But it's not often. But he really demonstrates his love by his actions. He demonstrates his love by his commitment. He demonstrates his love by his courage. And this is love. Not that we have loved God, but that he has loved us. It is really after we have experienced, by God's grace, this reality of being loved by God. And if you feel maybe you have a deficit in that understanding, or you have a deficit in that sentiment, or you have a deficit in that, I just don't know. And it's different from people who I will have say to me in their spiritual journey, God seems so far from me. God seems so far away. God is hidden. But there is still a place in them that knows. I'm climbing back to get there. How many times in my life as a pastor, as a shepherd, and I have people, the sheep of the flock, who come and they're like, where is he? Why do I feel abandoned? And let me tell you, that is not an uncommon component of the spiritual life. But it should rest on the foundation of, I'm longing for him, because I know that's what I was created for. I see some nods of understanding, and I maybe see some blank faces out there. It's not that we have loved God. It's that God has loved us and sent his Son as expiation for our sins. One of my most fruitful prayers, and it might not be one of your most fruitful prayers, but one of my most fruitful prayers is simply to sit before the crucifix and let the cross speak. And the cross does speak. It speaks a language of love that transcends sentimentality, but it does speak God's love to us. As the Father has loved me, so I love you, Jesus says.